Whether it's around the country or your town or county, decisions are being made every day that impact real people and real communities. Welcome to the Rural View, where we open the window for you to view Wisconsin farmers and rural residents and get a glimpse into the challenges they face.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Rural View podcast. And I am Amy Eckelberg, one of your co-hosts, along with my co-host,
Jim Wren.
And we're very excited to have our guest here with us today. We have Shari Black with us from the Wisconsin State Fair. Thank you, Shari, so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Shari, obviously it's great to have you on here, and I've known you for a lot of years. But I think everybody needs to know a little bit about you and what you're doing now and how you got there. So kind of fill us in.
Sure. So I started at the Waukesha County Fair. I began exhibiting dairy cattle when I was 9. Technically started as a mini 4-H member. That was before they had clover buds. So started that when I was 7. But, got to graduate to big kid 4-H, so to speak, when you're 9 and started showing dairy. Then also showed pigs and did numerous projects like cake decorating, art, various cultural art things, and did that all the way through. Began showing at State Fair. You're allowed to show at 13. So we did that. Had a great experience. Loved coming to State Fair. Back then we stayed in the old Army barracks for the dorms, which were awful. So thankful that we have the new TGT dorms now. Well, I guess they're not really new anymore, but it was just so much fun. Met so many people from all over and really enjoyed my time doing that. Began working in the fair office at Waukesha when I was in high school. College, I did my internship there, and our executive director at the time asked me to stay on as I was completing my senior year of college. And then she resigned in March of that year. So I had I had to finish out this semester and had summer school left at Carroll University, but the board, I asked them to take a chance on me, and surprisingly they did. Obviously fresh out of college, certainly naive, and learned a lot. Thankful for that. Jim served as our president for a number of years, so I worked closely with Jim and love his family. His kids used to help us move when they were little, so our kids kind of grown up together showing, which is great. It's fun that there are a lot of people at Waukesha that I grew up with showing, and now all of our kids did the same, and our kids are even friends in college, and it's just such a great family event, and so thankful for the experience. Oh, and then I moved to State Fair in 2016. Sorry, I guess the nation. I
was going to say, maybe talk a little bit about your transition to the State Fair, maybe a little bit about the difference, because I'm sure there's quite a few differences.
There certainly are. I remember when I came into State Fair as the senior director of event services. So it was for the year-round events, something that I really did not know much about because Waukesha was just the fair. I was also overseeing our independent midway. Again, at Waukesha, we brought in North American Midway, so I really didn't have a lot of experience with that, but I'm so thankful that I had those 3 years to really learn that side of the business. It has definitely helped now as CEO. Then I transitioned into the Chief Programs Officer role in 2019 and held that until I was appointed interim CEO in October of 21. And then formerly CEO in March of 22. So all of those experiences have really helped, but I'm still learning. It's amazing. I feel like I will never know everything, but I certainly am enjoying being able to grow my career and just grow as a person, grow as a leader, and really honing in on that leadership style. One of the big things that I always say that small fairs, large fairs, we all share the same problems. They're just on a different scale. But I do remember moving over to State Fair, I was shocked that we had carpenters on staff. When you're working at a county fair, you're always tapping various volunteers that have those types of expertise because you have a very small budget. So it's just those little things that kind of separate you. But it is fun to be here at a larger event and dealing with some other issues. Security is such a big thing for us. I know that all the fairs deal with that, but given our proximity to Milwaukee, it's a little bit more challenging than what I was used to at Waukesha.
Yeah, it's been great to watch you grow and move along into the fair industry that you have. And it's nice to say that it started out in little Waukesha County.
Well, and poor Jim, I give him so much credit. We had some really tough situations with very intense weather that caused financial strain and just working through those. Jim was a volunteer. I give him so much credit that he really stuck through and helped us with his leadership to make it through that. But again, I learned so much from that. And I'm really proud. I will actually I'm the incoming chair of the International Association of Fairs and Expos. And the Waukesha County Fair Board was always so supportive of making sure that I was learning and growing with that organization. And again, to be able to take on a leadership role there is really exciting.
You kind of hinted at this, but I think one of the things that makes fair special is that fair family. So you do want to expand just a little bit more on like growing up in the fair, maybe some of the specific projects you took and just kind of why it has such a special place in your heart?
Sure. So I was very fortunate also that my parents were extremely involved in 4 H and the fair. My dad served on the fair board and was a 4 H leader. My mom was a 4 H leader and was a fair superintendent for cultural arts. She did the drawing and painting. So we used to host a lot of those meetings at our house, and I have 4 brothers. So for my parents, all of us were also involved in sports. And my mom always said she really enjoyed 4-H because it was something our family could all do together. And they had all of us in one place instead of chasing around. Now, sometimes that meant, they did extra chasing before we got to our 4-H meetings. But it was just a really great experience and getting to know the other families, of course, with all the siblings. Usually we had large families that were involved. So it's just another funny story. Jim's wife was my chaperone when I showed at State Fair, Carrie. And our families had also, I remember her grandparents, we all were friends and our dads were good friends. So I think just all those multi-generational friendships are really important. We always say it takes a village, and I think that's really true in our case.
Can you talk about how critical agriculture is to Wisconsin State Fair?
Well, I think that we all know that agriculture is the cornerstone of what we do at fairs and why we have them. County fairs really started, York, Pennsylvania was the first fair, but it started as a way for farms to come together and be social because, everybody was so spread out back then. And they had plowing competitions, then they started baking competitions, and then, it really developed into these agricultural shows where you're showing cattle, and it was a way for you to sell your cattle or bring more money if it placed higher. So I think that concept is still all true today. I think we certainly saw that with COVID when most of us were canceling our fairs, that people really missed coming together. It is the social event typically in all of our towns, and it is so important to be out, to be with people. And again, agriculture plays that piece. We're bringing people in, we're educating them, and they don't realize we're educating them because they're having fun doing it. And I think that agriculture is always going to be the base of what we do and what we build upon. And especially the other piece is the exhibitors. We're building our future leaders. As I've mentioned, this experience has helped me develop into the leader that I am now. I didn't mention, but I also was a fairist of the fair. So that certainly helped with public speaking skills, being able to be a spokesperson. It also is what really solidified for me that I wanted to be involved in the fair industry.
I'm so glad to have you say the word fairist because that was on my question list for you. I also am a former fairist and just know the camaraderie and just the special program that is. I think a lot of times people don't understand that it's just so much more than what meets the eye of a tiara and a sash. It really builds public speaking skills and really leans into a lot of things that a lot of our youth organizations are building that foundation of. But do you want to talk a little bit more about the Ferris program? And you guys have a phenomenal state fairist every year that does some great ambassador work and just kind of the role and also the value that role has for all fairs of all levels, but especially you guys at the state fair.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, it's extremely important because she or he, we have not had a male yet at the state level, but we have had it at the county fair level. And we, of course, would welcome anyone at state fair. But they really serve as the ambassador going around to not only the county fairs, but dairy breakfasts and really any types of events that they can participate in to get the word out about our fairs as well as agriculture. And I think that it's so important to continue having these programs because not only do we award one person, but all the girls and boys that participate go through training as far as etiquette training, public speaking, and they have numerous speakers that come in and talk about their experiences. And it just really helps them either really master their speaking skills or just learning and taking that and developing it more at their own county fairs. And then that's going to keep them involved for generations to come. Or they're just taking it back to whatever profession they decide to go into that really helps them stand out and I think elevates them in their own worlds.
I think one of the most fun days is we always have the Ferris Reunion Day, and it's always such a spectacle to see all of the counties who send their Ferris, and they get to do, a cream puff tour and experience State Fair in a unique way. And I always appreciated that as being a county Ferris because it was kind of like your one vacation day. Like it wasn't your fair, so you got to have fun at the fair and also be there in good company too. But I think that's a valuable program, and I very much give you guys kudos for embracing that so much and really giving them time to shine.
Yes, thank you.
And Sherry, you can share with everybody about your involvement with the Wisconsin Association of Fairs. I mean, you were on the board there and involved with that quite a bit as well.
Yes, I served on the board. I did 2 terms. I think that's when they kick you off after 2 terms. But I also served as vice president and then president of the Wisconsin Association of Fairs. So that was a lot of fun as well. I was able to go around and visit fairs. I took my children with me. Again, great examples to set for my 3 kids at the time. They were like middle school age and grade school. I remember one of them, we went to the Northern Wisconsin State Fair and they all won fish and the fish were all dead by the time we got home. But we had so much
Unlike the
fun.
fish that you got in high school?
I did. I won a fish at the Jefferson County Fair. My mom was out of town and my dad took all of us kids and we brought friends to the Jefferson County Fair. Now, Jim knows my dad well. I don't know why my dad decided to do that, but I think he gave us all money and like we were supposed to scatter and he could go talk to his friends in the barns. I don't know. But
They
I
didn't
won a
have beer
fish.
back then, so you know it wasn't beer.
So it wasn't that. And we went right after church in the morning. So I do remember that we were all piled in a van.
Bob loaded up the station wagon and headed to Jefferson.
Yeah. So then we won fish. And so I think, what was I? I think I was like 12 or 14, something like that. The day before I got married, I was 22 and I was cleaning out my fish tank and somehow the fish got stuck in the little curve of the sink drain. And my mom started freaking out, yelling for my dad to come in and get my fish out. My dad's like, well, if it's down the sink, it's like dead. And my mom's like, her fish can't die. It's lived this long. It can't die the day before she gets married. Well, my dad pulls it apart and it was still alive. There was like enough water sitting. That fish lived, I don't remember how long it lived. It was like part carp. By that time, it wasn't even like orange anymore, gold, whatever you want to call it. It was like silver. But I remember my oldest son, who is now 23, he took a hot dog and put a hot dog in the fish tank one time. He was like 2 or 3. I don't know. That poor fish went through. So it lived at least that much longer. So yeah,
I
interesting.
feel like that's the thing about fair fish is they either live for decades or they don't live 24 hours.
Minutes.
There's no in between. I feel like it's just two very different stories.
Well, I think you're getting like real goldfish. And like I said, then you're getting like a mutated one that's really a carp. I don't know. But yeah, interesting. So my dad
Great
saved the day.
memories.
That's the moral of the story.
Well, I wanted to spend some time talking about the Sporkies and Drinkies a little bit. I think that has been a really fun thing that I know for us at Farm Bureau and with Gather Wisconsin, our consumer brand, we like to really highlight those and make people excited to go try some new things at the fair. Do you want to just talk about that program, maybe how it started? It's kind of a unique name, Sporkies and Drinkies to begin
Yes.
with, kind of a
We-
tongue twister.
Yes.
And then also maybe just like if you know a few of the fun things to try this year, or maybe if you have a good memory of some unique ones that you've had in past years, would be kind of fun to talk about too.
Yeah. So the Sporkies began in 2000. What are we in right now? I think it was around 2012. Certainly before my time here, but it actually came from Texas. The State Fair of Texas has been doing a food competition, and I don't remember what they call theirs. It's different, but we were really challenged by our chairman of our board is the one that came back and said, you guys need to come up with a food competition. So that's how Sporkies was born. And it's something that's been extremely popular. I mean, people ask me all the time to be a judge. Every time I meet someone, can I be a Sporkies judge? So that's always kind of funny too. But then we added the Drinkies 2 years ago. And I can tell you, I am excited. It's called Tilt-A-Spritz. It'll be at the Old Fashioned Sipper Club. You can get non-alcoholic, or perhaps at the end of the night when I'm off my duties, I can have a little, you can put some vodka in there or something.
Deal.
But what?
Deal. I'll meet you there.
Oh, yeah, when you're done working too, right?
Jim's there.
Right.
But it seems like a really fun drink. I haven't tried it yet, but it's bright ruby grapefruit, key lime juice, and has vibrant citrus flavor with ginger beer. So I think that sounds like a good pick. There's one that's called hot honey chicken lemonade, and we didn't understand what this meant at first, but the deep fried mashed potato on a stick it's on a stick, so it's not like in the drink. At first when we saw it, we had to add that part on a stick because it seemed like there was mashed potatoes in it, which that would be gross. And then there's a cookie butter coffee float. I think that's going to be really great too. But I am excited about the Porky Puff that's being done at the Bud Pavilion. So it's a Porky Puff is a golden flaky puff pastry filled with tender pulled pork and house-made zesty peach filling. And then the other one that I'm really excited about, sweet lemon berry cheese curds, and that's at Saz's Barbecue. So yeah, I think. And the other thing is we have an official cheese curd of the fair this year.
I saw
Ellsworth
that.
Creamery. Yeah, so excited to highlight them. They've been such a great partner for so many years. So thought that was very fitting.
I think it's great that they have so many flavors. Like, it's not just one flavor, but I saw they have dill pickle and pizza, and I feel like there's a couple more in there too.
Yep, and there's white cheddar, regular cheddar if you like the staples. So yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things we like to do is we have a state fair fun day on my team, and we go around and we try to take on as many food items and drink items as we can. But I think that's what's really cool about your crazy grazing day, right? So
Yep.
I think is it the Tuesday, the first Tuesday at the fair?
Yep.
And everything's kind of like smaller quantities so you can eat even more.
Yeah. So for a smaller price point, you can get smaller servings, but that's the great part because then you can buy numerous and you can take a bite out of each one.
Yeah, I think besides the Ferris day, that's like a close second for me of the best day.
Yes.
And I understand that my favorite building with all of these delicious treats now has a new name to it.
It does. So we took off the products piece of it and we're just calling it the Wisconsin building. And it's really part of what we're trying to do here at the park. Keep in mind, of course, our 11 days of the fair are what everything is really set for. But then we need to make sure that we're utilizing the grounds for those other days outside of the fair because we need to make sure that we're bringing revenue in. So we've been renting out the Wisconsin, it was called the Products Building for many years. We're now just dropping the products and we're just calling it the Wisconsin Building because we rent it out for so many different things that it just kind of streamlines it and people can always understand they're going to the Wisconsin Building. Nothing inside is going to change. You'll just notice a new sign hanging out there. So it still has all of our favorite products, the grilled cheese, the milkshakes that are my favorite, that I have to have one every single day from our wonderful dairy friends. I know Joan and Tom Overhouse, I think they get sick of seeing me at some point, but I can't help it. It's just so good. It's my favorite thing.
They are
It's
good.
like what keeps me, it's my pickup in the afternoon. And I really like the chocolate now.
Yeah, that was going to be my other question is what's one of your go-to or favorites at the fair while you're there? I mean, obviously in 11 days, you have so many options that you could go to, but there's always that one staple of Wisconsin State Fair.
So I'm not a huge greasy food person. I mean, I will partake in some, of course. I'd be crazy not to. But I I
Just a
love
little.
a baked potato. Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
But of course, baked potato as well by the potato growers, as well as a grilled cheese. That's always my favorite. So I usually will get a shake and a grilled cheese together. But it's the Wisconsin building is so great because it's an affordable pricing and you're supporting all of our wonderful commodities in Wisconsin and you're eating healthy foods, as healthy as you can get at a fair.
As somebody who used to stay down there, I was in state FFA choir and we'd, be down there for 4 or 5 days, just like the exhibitors. I mean, that building was definitely a lifesaver. And as someone who is, a college student, the grilled cheese really was a lifesaver because you can get quite a few of them for a pretty good price. So I definitely feel like people appreciate that. Speaking of an iconic place, I think the Wisconsin building is absolutely one, but one place that we work very closely with, Gather Wisconsin, our consumer brand, has been the cup sponsor at the Milk House the past few years. And so we are always really excited to go and visit the Milk House. And I know that's been a staple for many fairgoers. Why do you think the Milk House is kind of an iconic spot? And then what other places around the fairgrounds do you consider maybe an iconic spot or something that's very special to our fair?
Well, I think the Milk House is iconic because it started in 1990 with Herb Cole. But I know I worked the milk booth at the Waukesha County Fair where you could get your milk for a quarter back then, using the little big handles and filling all the cups up and giving people their refills. But I think the same holds true here at Wisconsin State Fair, that everybody wants their milk from Wisconsin. And the fun thing is now we have flavored milk, which, back when I was doing it, we only had chocolate or regular milk. But
Heck, when I
I
was
always
a
laugh.
kid.
Sounds so bad, doesn't it? I'm telling you, I'm like one of the oldest people here now at State Fair. It's so weird. We have a very young staff, but now they have flavored milk, which I don't know if you're aware of the flavors this year. We have s'mores, red velvet, 175th birthday cake, which we haven't talked about that yet, our big anniversary, and root beer. And again, does this mean I'm old that I'm like, ooh, what does that taste with milk? I don't know. I like chocolate. Is that a bad thing?
No, it's
No,
not a
I think
bad
the
thing.
milk flavors I think they're really good. I mean, I'm like a purist. I like the chocolate too, but this year's flavors I feel like are good contenders. Sometimes I feel like there's some pretty interesting zingers in there, but all of these I feel like the flight deal will definitely be worth it this year because I don't feel like you can really go wrong with any of these.
No, I
But
think
yeah, we should definitely talk about the anniversary because that's why we have the birthday cake flavor, right?
we do. And I should also mention the milk booth had a little bit of a renovation. So it will be much better streamlined. Excited for those that are working. They now have air conditioning, which, of course, during the fair is very important. So you'll notice that when you come by, it just looks revamped. And like I said, it'll be much better for traffic flow. But yes, we are celebrating 175 years this year, which is very exciting, along with America's 250. So we are celebrating those two milestones. You will see signage all throughout the park. We're highlighting the faces of agriculture outside of the Coliseum, which really focuses on people in agriculture, their stories,
That's
which I think
awesome.
is really something exciting. And I'm hoping that a lot of people will stop by and check that out. We also are bringing back our parade for one day, Tuesday of the
Oh,
fair. It will be 2:50 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's exciting. We had to stop doing the parade because we're just too crowded and it was really hard from a safety standpoint. But we felt like bringing it back for one day. Tuesday is maybe a little less crowded. So it's fun. Also, we're bringing in floats and we're doing different things, but those that work in our agriculture department, they are coming up with some really fun things for the parade. So I'm excited for everybody to see that.
That sounds like lots of fun. Is
I
there any other
remember that
special
parade when I was a
celebrations?
kid.
And you're much older than me, so
Oh,
that was
thank
a
you.
long time ago.
Is there any other celebrations, or is it just gonna and trying to encompass the celebration throughout the entire fair?
It is. We are hosting Sandra Lee in Grand Champion Hall. If you recall, she actually got her start at the LA County Fair. She grew up here in Wisconsin, graduated college from UW La Crosse, but she is coming back to do some specialty competitions. It's an old-fashioned dessert competition that she'll be judging and hosting. So she'll be here for meet and greets. People can come out and see her in Grand Champion. I'm sure she'll do some demonstrations, but she'll be with us a couple days during the fair. So that's also very exciting. She also is doing a series in Women's World. So there will be an article just kind of highlighting myself in the fair and kind of my journey that brought me to where I am now. So that's kind of exciting. I think it's great for the fairs to be highlighted too.
That's awesome. That sounds like lots of fun. Lots of good stuff this year. One iconic place we haven't really covered yet, but for many people is like their staple is the Cream Puff Pavilion.
Yes.
And I also feel like there's been a lot of renovation in that space. And I hear they're bringing back the new flavor I think they introduced last year. if I remember right, or just having a new flavor in general.
Yep.
But do you want to
Yeah.
talk maybe about the cream puff tradition and what that is at Wisconsin State Fair?
Sure. So the Cream Puff just celebrated their 100th anniversary 2 years ago. And the Cream Puff was started by the Bakers Association working with the dairy group because they wanted to create an item that would get people to come and learn about agriculture. And we needed that dairy piece. So that's how the Cream Puff came to be. So it really works in two organizations coming together. Now it's really just the dairy I'm sorry, the Bakers Association that is backing it. And so we have our bakers that are hired by them. They actually come from Greeby's Bakery. Brandon and Colton Greeby are the ones that oversee our bakery operation. We renovated the building last year, which was really exciting. Happy to open that up. But after this, not after this fair, but the following fair, we are going to start working on the patio that will be outside of the building. Unfortunately, but fortunately, we are part of state governments. Things move a little bit slower because we have to go through the processes with budgeting and designing and then implementing construction. So it takes a little bit longer that we would like. However, we're very excited that the state is supporting us as we work through this project. And I think the patio for what we have designed, we're all very excited about it. It's really going to add to people's experience for the 2028 fair. The other piece of this too is we are in the process of conducting a design study. We were awarded $4 million from the state to go ahead and do that study for taking down the swine barn, the goat and sheep barn, Discovery Barnyard, and the neighborhood corral, as well as it would encompass the poultry palace. Kind of looking at that footprint and how can we make a new egg facility that can be utilized year round, as well as the important part of the 11 days. We wanted to really take a look at biosecurity, traffic flow, and just if any of you are there on changeover days, you know how difficult it is, how long you wait. I know you do that, Jim, as you are bringing your cattle in. So we're trying to streamline that a bit, just working through. We had the bidding process and now we're working on what that design would look like. So then we have to take that back to the state and see if they approve it. But we're looking at almost an $87 million project, which would be the largest project that Wisconsin State Fair Park has ever done.
Wow. Is there any
When do you
timeline for
think
that
that would
project or
be?
not until you get
Yeah.
things solidified?
Yeah, it probably we're looking at like 2030. The other piece of it is it may end up taking multiple summers because it will be such a big project. But we notice or we realize that the swine barn just does not have much life left to it. And that's really what got us talking about, well, how do we make things better? And there are so many fairs, Iowa, Kentucky, Colorado, they're putting up new facilities, Tulsa. So we've been looking, Indiana, sorry, I could keep naming them off. There's so many. We've really been looking at what they're doing and what is working for them. And again, back to this administration, we're so thankful that they're very supportive of us and of agriculture. And as we all know, agriculture is the most important. So we certainly want to provide a great experience, not only for the fairgoers, but our exhibitors as well, so that they keep coming too.
You talked about some of the other state fairs. What makes Wisconsin's fair unique, maybe across the Midwest or even across the country from other fairs that you've visited?
So I think that our fair is unique in the fact that the vendors, most of them where they're permanent stands, those are all owned by private entities. So we, as Wisconsin State Fair, issue a ground lease that we sign one for 5 years. Everybody is on that same cycle. They are responsible for building or updating their booths. We do hold them to high standards to make sure that they're delivering a great product, but their menus have to be approved by us. But it's a great partnership because they're always trying to one up another, it seems like, which is great. Friendly competition. What we receive then in the long run is a great product. They also are responsible for booking their own bands. So that's something that we don't have to do. They can choose to do that or they don't have to. But that's part of what helps us have so many different bands going on throughout the grounds. The only bands that we book are at the main stage and the amphitheater stage. Both Bank 59 is sponsoring both of those stages. So the fun part is that if you're at one stand, it's sort of like a mini Nashville, because if you don't like one band, you can hear another one in the distance and think, oh, I want to go over there and listen to them. You can just mosey around. And that's really what's helped us with IndyCar as well. They really like that layout that we provide for the free fan zone. And again, that's just a testament to our great vendors.
All right. So I'm bringing a family or somebody that has never been to Wisconsin State Fair, and they're only there for one day. What are the must sees at Wisconsin State Fair?
Well, as I mentioned, agriculture is always going to be number one. You need to go see dock diving because that's free. You also need to go see the circuit at the fair, also free. And the show changes every year. If you want to be up in the ring side, you can buy a $10 seat and upgrade, but otherwise it's free. Jim, you know me, I am a shopper. You have to go in the expo because there are so many things in there that you cannot live without, I promise. Of course, then you're going to eat your way all the way back over to the Wisconsin building and eat some more. You can catch any of the main stage shows, but then you have to make sure you hit Spin City. We have so many fun rides and games down there. And I can tell you the Bottle Up, my oldest learned how to do that. And he just was at the Sauk County Fair, won a guitar because that's how much he plays that game and absolutely loves it. And he also won a stuffed pig for his girlfriend. I don't know. They were excited. And then I think the
Cheaper to
horse
feed.
hitch, yeah, the horse hitch shows are always fun to watch in the Coliseum in the evening, or the horse pulls. I think those are really great too, to see those majestic animals who love what they do. That's another big piece of this. I think our industry understands how well we treat our animals when we're showing them or they're participating in these types of competitions. But we know that we have some friends that don't necessarily understand that. But you can see those horses as soon as that hitch drops, they know that noise and they are working, which it's just so fun to see because it's not something you can see anywhere else. And of course, we have a new Ferris wheel that you can almost see Chicago from. It's so high. It's like 230 feet. It's almost double what our other wheel was. So it's branded the America
Oh,
250
my.
wheel. Yes, every gondola has information on a president in it. I rode it at the Tampa Fair, the Florida State Fair in Tampa. I'm like very afraid of heights, but I've always been fine in the Ferris wheel because I feel very safe. I know our inspectors are great, but it's really high, like really high. So I think people will enjoy taking a ride on that. And then if you're really feeling daring, you have to go on the injection seat, which I have done 3 times, but I don't want to do it anymore. I feel like I did it with my kids. I'm a great mom and now I'm done. Took
That's
one for the
fair.
team because my husband was not doing it.
Yeah,
Jim,
I'll
have you ever
pass.
done it?
Nope. Nope.
I have not
I'm
done that
okay.
either. I have gone skydiving twice, but that does not sound appealing to me.
No,
The
I
first
don't
time
jump
it was
out of perfectly airplanes.
yeah, I don't know. The second and third, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be doing this anymore. I giggled like the whole time the first time because I don't know why. I just thought it seemed funny. I mean, because it's fun. I don't
Nervous,
know. But
yeah.
the next two, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah. I
Sometimes
get
you just
about
get
the
older and
same,
wiser.
right. I get about the same effect climbing on 90-foot silo, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're crazy to do that. I know you always have your lit up star for Christmas. I would never
That's
climb
right.
up there and put that there. And then
Well,
you have to ride the sky glider.
oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. That is absolutely a staple for me. Whenever I'm there, that is like one of my favorite things because I feel like even if I can only get there for half a day or if I'm there for work, I'm like, I have to ride the Skyglide because I feel like you can just take it all in and you kind of feel like you made it across the whole fair.
Yeah, and then you can get off the sky glider down by the expo, and Exploratory Park is right there. I think that's a little gem too that people don't necessarily realize is there. Stevens Springs, which Stevens Farm is what our grounds are built on. We have there's a water feature that's called Stevens Springs. There's also the Pondering Pond where you can go. There's an Oriental garden next to it. And Jill has some other great gardening things, a little fairy garden. There's also a playground. So if you want you're exhausted, but your kids want to play, you can let them play there and just DNR programs that building as well as our history exhibit is in the south building. So it's a great way to let your kids kind of run around and get rid of any more energy before you put them in the car and they can fall asleep on the way home.
I feel like that is a great spot too. If you're trying to get a kid to nap, it's a good spot.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Jill and her crew. I mean, they do an outstanding job with the flowers and everything on the grounds year round. So, I mean, it's neat. They do a great job and the creative aspects, that they use. I mean, old farm. I mean, I can remember bringing in barn boots for Jill to put flowers in to put around the grounds, and the tractors and the water troughs and all that stuff. Just the creative aspect that Jill and her staff do an awesome job.
She does. And that whole crew, they work really hard. Actually, they're starting now at 5 a.m. so they can get out of here by 2 and get out of the heat. Also, our facilities team, it's amazing when you see how messy the grounds are at the end of a day and you go home, they work all night. Although I shouldn't say that. I had to work during COVID. I stayed because we had, blower backpacks on and we were having to clean up the grounds. And I stayed with Chris Kowieski. We were here until like 4 in the morning or something doing that. So I have mad respect for that whole team. But when you come in the next morning, the grounds are just pristine. It's so amazing what great care they take of everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm part of the crew that cleans out the barns at changeover, and it's amazing the amount of material that we move in a short amount of time. So I understand on the barn side of things, but I also understand on the people bringing animals in, that side of it. So I mean, we do everything we can to get everything moved in and moved out as fast as possible because we all want to go home too.
Yeah. Yes.
How long does it take to build like Tent City and just put together the fair? Like when does that start coming together? And then how long does it take to take down?
So we started actually building we just finished a horse show. So once we got through that horse show, now it's straight fair. But, we're doing little things all along the way, of course. But the tents are starting to come in, I believe, next week. Actually, JK is out there right now, I think, with some things. But the gates start getting put together. That's the other thing. Our gates are all temporary, except for our main gate down in Spin City. But we start putting all those things together. Vendors are starting to roll in. We have rides that are here sitting on trucks that were delivered. They've been coming the last few weeks. It's really like right after the 4th of July is when things really kind of kick into gear. And then surprisingly, everybody leaves almost that Sunday night, especially like since Spin City, they tear down and they're off to their next location. A lot of the vendors, the temporary ones, will pull out. But the grounds are pretty much cleared by that Wednesday. And then we're getting the track ready for IndyCar, not because they move in then that following Monday. So we've got to get things flipped over pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, my question to follow up to that was going to be, what do you do when the fair is done? I feel like you probably live on adrenaline for the full time of the fair. Just like anyone who's experiencing fair, the Monday after the fair is always like, woof, you're really feeling it. But I mean, what does like the week after the fair look like? Do you just run away on a vacation? Are you sleeping in? Are you doing like some kind of wellness to just get yourself back to normal? But like, what does the week after fair look like for you?
So I think way back when, yes, that's how it was. But now that we added IndyCar, this will be our third year of a 3-year agreement. We're working on the next one. We don't have that luxury anymore because we are getting ready for the race. And obviously last year after we had that flood on the final Sunday, we were pumping out the water that was in the tunnel and having safety checks to make sure that the track was okay to host that race. Thank goodness it was. But then once we get done with IndyCar, we have other events happening here at the park after that. September, we have horse shows for 4-H. We also have Harvest Fair. This year, it actually, because of the way the calendar falls this year, it's jumping into that first weekend in October. Normally, it's the last weekend in September. So we don't really get to breathe until October.
Yeah. I kind of figured that was the case, but I thought it was worth asking the question.
Yeah. But then busy expo season starts in November now. We used to not have it in November. Usually it didn't start until after the first of the year, but we have shows now in November, December. So we are busy. We don't really have a slow time anymore.
Well, Jim, do you have any
That's
more questions for Shari?
Well, I could sit and talk to Sherry all day, but I'm sure everybody else would be bored with that. So I think we
Maybe
should do
so.
our quick fires, but I lost
All
mine.
right. Well, I'll kick it off then, because the first one, and I guess we didn't probably disclose this, but we end with some super fun, just random questions, and you're supposed to answer quickly and honestly. But they're not that difficult, and they kind of have a theme about them, which you'll catch on to. But the first one is, what is the best milk flavor? And I put at the milk house. So whether that's off of this year's flavors or past years, what is your favorite milk house flavor?
Well, like I said, I'm always going to pick chocolate, but I do think red velvet's going to be good. I've not tried it yet, but to me on the list, that sounds sounds like a good one. But I know they had caramel one year. That was pretty good. And I wasn't expecting that.
Oh,
That does sound
all
good.
right. And you kind of talked about it before, but we just want to make sure. What's your favorite fair food?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, food is going to be a grilled cheese, but chocolate shake, I mean, that for me, that can be a meal too.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
absolutely a meal. Yeah, for sure. You also talked a little bit about rides, but what is your favorite ride? Or maybe if you need to do like a top 3 situation, you can do that too.
Well, certainly the large Ferris wheel, just because I like to look at the grounds and see how everything looks. So that's more of a work reason. But we always have a coaster. I love riding on a roller coaster. But we also have one this year. I think it's called the Beast. They're similar rides, but it's almost like a claw and it goes all the way upside down and spins around. And I don't know. I think that's fun. It's like a pendulum type swing, but then you're also spinning. But you
That's
can't do
fun.
too many of those. Now that I'm older, my head can't handle it.
Here we are
That's
on the
fair.
older thing again.
I know, but I'm feeling it.
La la la. All right. Favorite Wisconsin product?
Ooh, it's gotta be a cheese curd. I don't know, like any cheese. I love all the cheese. Well, and I love the potato booth. Obviously, I said I like the grilled cheese. That you're making me stressed out. That's a hard one to nail down.
Well,
I love
maybe you can pick the
I'm glad
potato
I'm
because you
doing that
put
again,
cheese on the
Sherry.
potato. I feel like the potato encompasses a lot. You know, you can put the dairy on the potato,
yeah.
so maybe that's a cheater
All right, now
version,
you're
you
making me
know.
hungry. Can't wait
Yeah,
for
I know.
fair to get
Actually,
my
baked
baked
potatoes
potato
sound really good for dinner,
with
actually.
some asparagus on there.
Okay. No, oh my gosh, we almost made it through the whole episode. We have this weird thing. Jim picks on me because we've been talking about asparagus a lot and I don't know a lot about it. So we've been trying to find an asparagus grower to come talk to us, but we haven't quite found one. So we just like to bring it up to see if whoever we're talking to is an expert in it.
Well, funny, I'm not an expert, but my parents have asparagus growing in their ditch.
Yes, a lot of
See?
Wisconsinites do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that's
they
the funny thing is I'm trying to grow it like in a garden, but I
yeah,
think that's the
like you
thing
would
is
think would be normal. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta just grow it in a ditch. Apparently that is the tip. That's the trick. All right, the last question we have for you is what is the best thing about Milwaukee? Or if you want to talk about Wisconsin in general, what do you think is the best thing?
Well, I think that we are so fortunate, and this encompasses more than just Milwaukee, to have Lake Michigan. I think that not only for the business that it brings and all of those important things, but I think when, especially on days like today, it's really warm right now. You can go down to the lake and it's so much cooler down there. And, that goes all the way up north, all the way up to Door County. You can obviously enjoy that. So I think that that's something that's really beneficial to us.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Well, that's all we have. Really appreciate you joining us, Sherry. And just a big kudos and a big thank you for keeping agriculture such a big focus of our state fair. I know it's held in Milwaukee, which obviously is a very urban place, but what better of a location to talk about agriculture and just the greatness of our state. So, really appreciate that. And I know our members do as well. Any final send off notes, Jim?
Thanks, Sherry. Great to see you. And we'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure.
Yes. Thank you both so much for doing this and allowing me to share a little bit about our fair. I appreciate that.
Yes, and I hope you all the best at the state fair. You got the dates for us as we sign off?
Yes, August 6th through the 16th.
Awesome. I'm sure we'll see just about everybody there because it is the place to be in the summer.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah,
again.
I'm hoping I get invited to that staff meeting, Amy.
Well, Jim, you're maybe invited. We'll let you know.
Yeah,
We're still getting
that's
those
all right.
invites put together.
I'm going to go get a shake and a grilled cheese with my friend Shari Black.
Yes, you
That
are.
sounds good.
Interested in more news from Wisconsin Farm Bureau? Subscribe to Ag Newswire. Delivered weekly to your email inbox, Ag Newswire is your connection to the latest news from Wisconsin Farm Bureau and the agriculture industry. Subscribe now at the link in our show notes.